Hey, happy late night, everybody. Welcome back. Good to see you guys tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Hope you're all having a great night. Had a great rest of your day today. We're here to close the night off the best way we can, and that's by hanging out and talking a little true crime and whatever else we get into. So, thank you guys for joining me tonight. Let's get this show on the road. Here we go. Here we go. What up? What up? Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Again, it's great to see y'all. Hope you're all having a great night. And thank you for joining me once again. What is new? What is new? What is good? What is bad? What's up? Thank you guys for being here. Please make sure you hit that like button on your way through the door. And share this out to anybody you think might want to join us tonight for the Late Late Show as we talk about a little bit of crime and whatever else comes out of our mouths. So thank you for being here again. I appreciate you. Come on in, grab a seat. There's a couple different things I'm for sure going to talk about, Carl. Not in specific topic, but we'll get into it. Mama Bear sent me something to throw up there, and I guess JLR put out a video on what we talked about last night. It's kind of interesting. I might review that, talk about that as well. So it's great to be here with you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Please hit the like button and share it out, guys. The more, the better. The more peeps we have, the better it is. And YouTube is happy with me. And I'm happy with me. So bees it. Come on down, guys. Why is this doing this? There we go. Now you can see all of me. Not that you want to, but you can. Come on down, everybody. I just left Miss Salty's stream. Really good show over there. I wish I'd have seen more peeps in there. She's going over the paperwork for Madeline Soto's case, and there's some really interesting stuff in there. So it was pretty interesting to me. Some peeps in there. So speaking of peeps, who do we have gracing us with their presence tonight? It looks like Miss Paula's back in the house. Welcome back, Miss Paula. The lovely Miss Leslie. Thank you for being here again. Walt Harris, my brother. Good to see you. Molly Drake. Hello. Great to have you here. Romino, welcome back to you. Glitter is forever. Wonderful to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Miss Debbie Clark, always a pleasure. Good to see you. Carl Ferguson, my friend. Good to have you here, brother. Teresa S., welcome back. Great to see you. Kaylee, welcome back. Michelle Brook, welcome. Great to see you. The real Seth Rogers Shaley, good to see you tonight. Thank you for joining us. My doodlebugs in the house. Hey, Duty, good to see you tonight, dear. I hope you're start feeling better soon. CZ, what is going on with you? Great to see you. DS, welcome back to you as well. Great to have you here tonight. Sheila B is in the house. Welcome back, Miss Sheila. Good to see you tonight. Fark you too. Hello, Park you. Great to have you here. Let's see here. Hopeful one, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you so very much for being here. Austin's Bamonti made me feel classier than Boone's. Welcome. Great to see you. Great to have you here. Let's see if we got anybody else dropping down. A stranger stalking. Welcome. Hello. Good to have you here. Party of 5. Welcome back. It's been a while. Great to see you. Great to have you here. Miss Paula, of course. Kaylee, welcome to you. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Miss Avery, the Murder Candy Podcast in the house. Good to have you here. Mittens for Kittens, 435. Welcome back, Mittens. Good to see you tonight. Come on in, everybody. Grab a seat. There's a bench over there and a chair over there. If you got to grab the toilet, do what you got to do. I think I got a stump somewhere else over here. Grab it and sit down and have a seat. Get comfortable. Grab your drinks. Do your thing. Come on in, everybody. Again, please hit that like button coming through that door. If you have not yet, please hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything that we do over here at the cafe. I don't want to do it without you guys. I don't. Which Glitter says, Dago, do you feel like the chick from Romper Room with the... Yes, Romper, Stomper, Bomber Boo. Tell me, true. Who do I see looking through you? Is it Doodlebug Fart? Yes, it is. I see you. How did I remember that? How do I remember the words to that damn song? Wow, that was weird. I remembered every single word, guys. I haven't watched that since I was 5 years old. Mr. Thomas Sharp, welcome to you. Great to see you. What did you do to me, Glitter? What did you do to me? That's crazy. You changed your icon picture, didn't you? I think you did. Yes, I see you peeking. How do I remember that? Evie Marie's in the house. Genealogy Gypsy, welcome, dear. Good to see you tonight. Plumy. Good morning. Good to see you today. I'm like that with song. I can do that too with songs, but the Romper Room theme, come on now. Come on, guys. That's just weird. You got to say I'm right. It's weird. You know it's weird. Then again, I'm weird, so you know it is what it is. It's weird. And it's also
bullshit.
I think it might be. You never know. Tomboy Charms in the house. Hello. Thank you for joining us tonight, Tomboy. Weird. Isn't that weird? Come on in, everybody. Get comfortable. Wildfire, welcome back, dear. Good to see you tonight. Please grab a seat. You're fine, Party of 5. I couldn't get into it. I'm sorry. I had too much on my plate already, and that's why I didn't bring it to you guys. I'm sorry that I didn't. I wish I could have, and I would have, because I know a lot of you guys wanted me to, but I didn't. So I'm sorry. What did CZ just say? I used to love Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and Captain Kangaroo. I still love Mr. Rogers. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day for my neighbors. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Hi, neighbor. How are you? No, what was better was Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood on Saturday Night Live when Eddie Murphy did that one. That was great. Twin Thing, what's going on, girl? Good to see you tonight. Thank you for joining us. Meta Mom, hello to you. Great to have you here. What didn't I do? What do you mean, Molly? What do you mean, what didn't I do? What didn't I do? I am lost. Brooklyn, nope. I don't know, but we can find out quickly. They are with me too, Paula. And you know what? I enjoy doing these because I get a lot of you guys that I don't get during the day. I might have to cut these down to every couple days instead of every night because it's a lot. I'm losing so much sleep. Not that I did to begin with, but you know. CZ. Okay, CZ, I got you. You just said that you had too much to do and didn't get something to. Huh? I don't even remember. I'm sorry. My brain is just not. That's part of the problem. I've been doing these late night things, staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I get back up at 7. I'm not getting enough sleep, folks. Just so you know. I can't think anymore. My brain is fried. Excuse me. Let me see something here. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. We got 48 likes with 89 people here. What is going on, guys? Mega match. Pretend like you like me for a few hours, if you will, please. What did you hear about Brooklyn? Anything specific? At all? At all? Hello, governors. Miss Leslie. I need this. I'm almost out of coffee too. I'm sad about that. I am out of creamer and I'm almost out of the coffee. I'm really sad. Well, welcome back, Duty. Thank you for coming in here. There's a link to Miss Molly's channel, guys. If you will, please check it out. Miss Diana, good to see you tonight. What do you hear going on, genealogy? Anything in specific or in particular? I don't have my scanner up and running, and it's running for local stuff. True Seeker, hello, dear. Good to see you tonight. Carly Ray, welcome back to you. Butterfly 71, hello, hello. You guys aren't late. You just came in after everybody else. There you go. 94 peeps in here. We're getting there. We're getting there with 48 likes. Not sure. Connected to large crowd alert. I got on scan. Oh, really? Let's see here. Maybe I can find it. Nope. It'll come up eventually if something will show up where that says there was 2 shot at late night party in Brooklyn one day ago. Is that it? No, because that was yesterday. I mean, isn't that daily in Brooklyn? Honestly, there's Miss Salty. Hello. Thank you for joining me tonight. Wonderful show you had. You guys missed out. They weren't there. I'm telling you, you got to start popping over there, guys. She's really, really good at what she's doing over there. Check it out if you will. Please. Has anybody seen Mom? She's probably burnt out from these late nights too. Probably a little too late for her. I don't even have my scanner near me. There's an active shooter in Indianapolis right now. Really? Better stay away from Mama Bear. I don't see it. It's not pulling up. Oh, wait a minute. Did I spell it wrong? Really? Nope. Nothing yet. Yeah, she did. Salty did an awesome job. Is Miss Kimber coming with you too, Miss Salty? Well, I was hoping Mom would be here. I love having her in here with me, but that's okay. I don't want her burnout either. I think we're gonna have to talk about that, Mr. Walt. Things are gonna be changing up around here, so I probably will. Terry Dean, hello. Miss Barbara, welcome. Good to see you. You guys are trailing on over here. Thank you for coming on over from Miss Salty's place. I appreciate that very much. Salty, if you feel like it, I left something in Discord for you. If you don't worry about it at all. Just trying to wait a few minutes to make sure everybody's in here. If you leave us at night, we are striking. What are you talking about, Leslie? Are you threatening me? Boston. I wonder where Andy is tonight. Probably sleeping. The only thing I found was that that doesn't even count. Come on in, guys. Be comfortable. Please, if you will. Man, that could be it. They were Kyrie Irving got into a fight with a fan. I don't think that would do that, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Why? Thank you, Miss Doodle. And if you would, there's the link, guys. If anybody wants a Dago cup, one of these awesome little mugs here, a little piece of the cafe. You could drink your coffee the right way in the cafe with a cafe cup, guys. They're pretty neat. If you want one, they're in there. A t-shirt, hoodie. I'm not going nowhere, Leslie. I'll be here. And you don't need to do that. Okay, genealogy. Good stuff. Come on in, everybody. We got 106 peeps in here right now with 68 likes. It's okay. You don't like me. I get it. It's all right. It's fine. I'll go away.
I've talked to this child's mother.
Y'all know better than that. I ain't going nowhere. Mrs. Sassy, good to see you tonight. So, okay, thank you, Leslie. Thank you very much, my dear. Mama Bear threw this at me earlier before she went to bed, and I think she wants me to throw this up. We're gonna talk about this. a little bit here, and a few other things we're going to throw out. Make sure I see everybody before I go anywhere. So I'm going to play this first. Thank you again, Doodle. I appreciate that, hon. Daisy May, welcome. Good to see you. Oh, I didn't know he was live. Okay. Thank you, Carl. And thank you, Salty. All right, Butterfly. Sleep tight. Thank you for coming in. I'll be here again tomorrow to pick up where I left off with summer stuff. Thank you guys for those of you that were here. We're going to get into a little bit more detailed stuff, and that will for whatnot tomorrow, and closer to the stuff that's most recent too. So please tune in for those of you that might jump out of here. Don't forget about it, because we need to get that seen and heard. We're going to be relatively soon here. I am going to be starting up on the Crystal Rogers case. For those of you that are interested in that, and if you're not, you need to be, because it's pretty crazy. So, yeah, I agree with that, Doodle. I appreciate you appreciating that there, Salty, because it really does need looked at. It needs to be heated back up. It's gone cold, and I hate saying that about any case, especially when it involves a child, but it happens. So, it needs to be put out there again. It's been 3 years, guys. I mean, it's just, there's no way. No. So it's the Celtic fans. That's what I thought it was. That's what I figured it would be if they won the championship. It's all it takes. So, all right, guys, let me know how the audio is on this. Or if there's any issues, please let me know, and I'll fix it for you. And we'll go from here. Yes, definitely, Terry. Definitely. Speaking of Terry, I wonder where Terry's at tonight. The other Terry. Yeah, good point with your Walt. Good point, sir.
I've talked to this child's mother, and of course she is devastated. Her family is devastated. Her little girl's gone. So we need your help. I'm going to turn it over to the mayor, and then I'm going to turn it over from there to Lieutenant Stephen Hope in our homicide division to give you more details. But again, we are asking for your help. Mayor.
Thank you, Chief Satterwhite. I echo the Chief's words of asking Houstonians to help us find the murderer of this.
Okay, that's just weird, Terry. I just said, I wonder where Terry's at. Poof, there she is. You didn't miss anything. We're just getting started. Thank you for joining us, Miss Terry. Appreciate you. I agree, Salty. Definitely agree. Welcome, Terry. Thank you for joining us again.
12-year-old little girl found in one of our neighborhoods. I've spoken to her mother. She's devastated.
Hey, Brandy.
Actually holding out hope that it's not her daughter, which I'll let the lieutenant address the circumstances. I will say it makes me angry that we have dangerous criminals on the streets of Houston. Too often we rearrest repeat violent offenders, but we won't rest. And this is an example of why public safety will continue to be our highest priority in my administration and working with HPD. Toughest thing I will ever do as a mayor is call up the victim's mother and assure her that HPD, its rank and file, its leadership, the city's doing everything they can to find the perpetrator of this heinous crime. Horrible. As a parent, a grandfather, it's just unimaginable what the family's going through. I spoke with her. She's devastated. And all you can do is depend on your faith and let the police do their work and have someone arrested as soon as possible. Another day I'll talk about why we need additional staffing and the issue of the repeat violent offenders. But today we're focused on this investigation, and I yield to Lieutenant Hope.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here this evening. I'm Lieutenant Hope with the Houston Police Department's Homicide Division. I'm here to talk to you about an incident that happened around 6 a.m. this morning. Citizen called 911 regarding a body seen in the shallow water of the bayou near 400 West Rankin Road in the Houston's North Belt area. Houston's Homicide Division, along with the assistance of the Houston Department's dive team and the Harris County Medical Examiner's Office, were able to recover that body out of the shallow water there. Harris County's Medical Examiner's Office is completing an official identification of the victim, but we do have reason to believe that it's going to be a 12-year-old female that was snuck out of her residence late last night and eventually ended up in that waterway at 400 West Rankin Road. We're investigating the circumstances surrounding her leaving the residence and ending up being discovered there deceased. There is surveillance video, and the detectives are working diligently to follow up on the leads that they do have currently. But we are asking that anyone with any knowledge of this incident or any information surrounding this incident, please call and help our investigators find the perpetrator of this incident. They can contact the Houston Police Department's Homicide Division at 713-308-3600, or they can call anonymously to the Houston Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS, 713-222-8477. Thank you again, and please help us out. Any questions?
Sorry, we're not identifying the girl at this point. I just think it might help with tips, people knowing relevant information about her.
Right. So the juvenile victim in this case, we're not going to be releasing the name until the official identification of the victim. And even then, circumstances surrounding this case might prevent us from doing so.
Can you tell us, you gave us the area where she was found, if people were out in an area between, where did she leave from and what general geography?
So she left an apartment complex actually pretty close to Rankin Road at the evening there. And she was found in the small waterway bayou right next to Rankin Road.
And what time do you think she left?
Anytime last night, a little bit after 10, anytime after 10 p.m.
Do we think the location where her body was discovered was the location that she was killed?
So the actual circumstances surrounding what her body's location was is still under investigation. And you can imagine with all the forensic evidence that would be needed, that's going to be taking quite a bit of time. And this is a very new scene. So we're not going to assume one way or the other just yet.
So what condition was the body found in?
Deceased.
Right, but how do we know were there injuries?
So the actual nature of how her body was found is something that is under investigation. The medical examiner's office is going to be doing a very
Welcome,
thorough
Southern
look
style.
into it forensically, and that does take a lot of time. I don't want to speak ahead of what they're going to be finding or have.
Hey, True Seeker.
Help people with tips if they knew how this young lady died.
It could, however, again, I don't want to step in front of what the medical examiner's office has to offer for us.
You said a dive team was called, but were they needed or was this?
So anytime a body's found in waterway, we will call for the dive team. This was shallow water, but it is their expertise to be able to
Welcome,
go in and
JC.
ensure that not only the body, but any other evidence in that waterway would be found.
You said this young girl snuck out of her house. I guess what do you mean by that? Was she communicating with someone online, to your knowledge?
So right now we have looking into whatever communications that could have happened. We're not sure how that was, but we have reason to believe that the family did not know that she was leaving the house.
Good night, Tomboy.
And we're, saying murder here, we're saying homicide. Can you elaborate on why we think foul play?
So 12-year-old found in a waterway near the residence where she lives is in and of itself very suspicious. And that's why we're kind of asking for people's help in this one.
So how do we know she didn't just trip and fall in?
Yeah, this is a new story. Mama Bear threw this at me just a little while ago before she went to bed in the Discord. So I figured I would throw it in here for tonight. I'll look for a little more detail on it after the presser on this. So yes, Claire, it's new to me. Welcome, Harsh. Good to see you tonight, Shelly. And Claire as well. Welcome. Miss JC, good to see you tonight, dear.
Like I said, we're leaving that up to whatever information we can get in. Anything would be helpful to us.
Chief or mayor, can you talk about the resources that are deployed, or sir, do you know the number of people investigating this or the?
So the medical examiner's office, it has several people that came out and went around for forensic analysis. We did have our CSU team out there. We have our homicide detectives working on it as well. So there's several entities that are working together in Facet with this.
Was the body found fully clothed?
So the actual nature of the body and the way she was is under investigation. We're still looking into how she was found.
Can you say how far the body was found from her residence?
I do not know the exact distance, but it actually was very close.
So it would be walkable?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any reason to believe that she got into a vehicle at any time? There might be a vehicle.
I do not know yet.
Are there any leads on any suspects as of this time?
So right now, we're still, like I said, we're still looking into communications that were there and any other information that we could find from it. There is surveillance video that we're reviewing as well. So any information from the public, any other information that anyone could help would be really, really helpful.
And she was never reported missing.
Thank you, Odin Girl. Welcome. Daisy May, great to see you. Mini Shrooms, welcome to you as well. And thank you, Odin.
She was not reported missing, no.
Race?
That's white female.
Sorry, y'all. My power just went out. Came back on, but it went out. So here I am. Give me a minute to set everything back up. Sorry about that, guys. That kind of freaked me out a little bit. Welcome, All Things Silver. Good to see you. Yeah, well, there's been storms coming through here, guys, so I'm sorry about that. Give me a minute here, and I'll get this all pulled back in where we're supposed to be. God, that was weird. Everything went out. Okay. Uno momento, please. By the way, we're at 95.15, still growing, and thank you for that. At this rate, guys, we will be at 10,000 by July. Maybe the 4th. That's crazy. All right. I think that's that. No, I'm safe. The Kimberfoot has not gotten me yet. There's no sightings of the Kimberfoot tonight. None. Thank the Lord. I don't think I could handle a Kimberfoot tonight. Hold on. Hold up. Yeah. Let me see here. Show. Okay. I hope that didn't mess my computer up. I'll say that much. Okay. Welcome, Miss Ann. Thank you for joining us. Robert Bell, my brother. Good to see you tonight. Where'd everybody go? I had 123 people in here. They're just gone. Poof. Out they went. They out the window. They went. Out the window. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. That's okay. Now the Quelo se la you in the morning. Welcome, Jules. Thank you for joining us. Okay, guys, let's move along.
White female.
Did it jump back? Maybe.
I mean, Mayor, why did you decide to attend this briefing today?
My concern for the family and to support HPD. We were at a hurricane preparation press conference when we were notified. So this is where I felt like I needed to be. I'm angry that we have circumstances that would lead to the loss of a 12-year-old. I think any of us that have children, grandchildren, you just, it's the worst horror for our family. And let me tell you what, this is a somber headquarters that I walked into. You know, you have a fire chief here, police chief, all the support of our first responders. But this is a sad moment for the city of Houston. So I'd ask everyone to keep the family in their prayers. It's a very tough job on my part to call the mother and let her know that we're doing everything we can. So that's why I wanted to be here to support the family, the police, and let Houstonians know that we're not going to rest until this is resolved and all the bad actors will be held accountable. And also, it's an opportunity for me to emphasize we need additional staffing. HPD is stretched way too thin. Houston Fire is stretched too thin. So public safety will continue to be my highest priority. That's why I'm here.
We'll do it in Spanish. Commander Garcia.
Thank you, Chief. Hoy estamos hablando con los medios de difusión sobre un caso muy triste, muy trágico, donde una joven, una niña de 12 años de edad fue encontrada muerta aproximadamente a las 6:15 de esta mañana en la cuadra 400 de la calle West Rankin Road. Nuestros policías fueron llamados a ese lugar y la encontraron, desgraciadamente estaba fallecida en un pequeño arroyo en el área. Detectives de la División de Homicidios, tanto como miembros del equipo de buceo, estuvieron presentes para extraer el cuerpo. Estamos trabajando con la oficina del médico forense para determinar exactamente la causa de muerte y otra evidencia que se puede obtener sobre este caso. Como acaban de escuchar ahorita, tanto el alcalde Whitmire como el jefe de la policía, Satterwhite, y el detective Hope, todo el mundo está trabajando en este caso, todo el mundo queremos ese. Muchas gracias. Chief. Claro que sí.
¿Cuál era la razón de la persona?
En este momento es una joven de raza blanca.
No se saben causas hasta este momento, no hay alguna pista que pueda llevar a...
Lo que sí acaba de decir el detective es de que en el complejo donde vive esta joven, un vecino tenía una cámara del hogar de seguridad y estamos investigando esa evidencia, estamos investigando otra evidencia del área.
Digo, por las razones que están ustedes manejando, este tipo de delito es algo muy diferente a otro tipo de asesinatos.
Bueno, es trágico porque es una niña de 12 años de edad y la evidencia indica que fue un asesinato. ¿Okay? Gracias.
The man accused of escaping from the Harris County Courthouse was back in court.
Okay, so that takes care of that there. Now, what I'm going to do is, hold on a minute here. 1 second. That way you guys have understand what the hell that was all about. Okay, hold up. Oh, hey. Welcome, Salty.
Hello. Oh,
I guess there isn't anything on it.
so the story you were just showing, was that a body found or is there someone missing and then a body was found, or what's going
Yeah,
on?
I'm gonna give you the news break on it real quick right now.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I know Mama Bear shared it and she forgot to drop the other part of it with it. So I showed it to you backwards is what I did. I'm sorry.
That's cool. I was trying to eat and follow, and I'm like, I don't even really know what's happening, but I'm here.
Yeah, I seen a lot of people looking at it like, what the hell? Like, we got a press conference on something we have no idea about. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm a little tired myself. That's probably why I did it that way. But here we
Developing news today, just so sad. A 12-year-old girl killed and left in a creek, and police need your help.
Okay, you guys are gonna have to turn this one up. It seems like it's a little bit low. Sorry.
Finding the killer. We were there this morning at the scene of this gruesome discovery at 6 a.m. when officers recovered the girl from a creek in North Houston off of Rankin Road. Fox 26's Abigail Dye joining us from Houston Police Headquarters. So Abigail, what are they saying tonight?
Well, Rashi, that's the hard part about this investigation. Police aren't releasing much. They didn't give us any details on what condition this girl's body was found in, how she died, or who she even is. They're trying to keep all of that under wraps to not hinder their investigation. But they did tell us that they think this girl snuck out of her apartment around 10 p.m. last night, and then she was found around 6 a.m. this morning. So somewhere in that time frame is when she was killed. This case so heavy that the mayor even joined in on this press conference.
I've spoken to her mother. She's devastated, actually holding out hope that it's not her daughter, which I'll let the lieutenant address the circumstances. I will say it makes me angry that we have dangerous criminals on the streets of Houston. Too often we rearrest repeat violent offenders, but we won't rest. And this is an example of why public safety will continue to be our highest priority.
Now, taking a look at the area that she was found, we see a lot of evidence of homeless encampments around and under the bridge that is Rankin Road there. Now, officials say at this point, they don't know if this young girl was killed at that location or if she was killed somewhere else and transported there after the killing.
Abigail, I know they didn't release much information, but how do they know that foul play was involved here?
Rashi, I mean, that's a great question. It's one that I'm sure everyone watching this at home is wondering.
They found her in the water, like the police officer said. They found her in the water. I'm sure she didn't jump in the water. There's probably something else with the body that they found that makes them believe that. So that's my opinion on that.
Oh, I'm willing to bet if she snuck out of the house and was walking down that street, she met a bad actor.
Or she purposely snuck out to meet up with somebody that, again,
yeah,
over the phone or whatever. Here we are again.
How old was this girl?
12. Salty's 12.
12.
Yep.
Lord, these kids today. I mean, well, it's not just kids today. It's all across the board. Oh, throughout, even back in the 80s when I was a kid, it was dangerous to sneak out and walk the streets. My God.
We got lucky though. I gotta say that because we did
You
our
damn
thing.
straight we did, Dago. You ain't lying about that.
Think about that, folks. We got real damn lucky that none of this crap, because this stuff's been going on, guys. We only know about it more now because of this right here.
And yeah, during the 80s, like when I was a teenager and we were partying, we knew about the vans, right? Because
oh yeah,
throughout the late 70s and the early 80s, there was the string of kidnappings and the vans were associated. And me and my friends were all like super careful anytime we seen a van, you know, that kind of thing. But
right.
We got lucky so many times. I'm not going to even go into what all the shit
Agreed.
I pulled that I shouldn't have pulled, that my parents absolutely taught me better than the dude. I knew if I ever got caught, my ass was done. You know what I mean?
Right.
But,
absolutely.
yeah, I got lucky, dude.
I think a lot of us.
It's way worse now.
Yeah, it is. It's beyond worse. We didn't have to face a lot of the things that these kids face nowadays. We still had the ability we were stupid. We put ourselves in positions we shouldn't have. And
yeah,
the good Lord was watching over us is all I can say, because I should have been done a few times. I'll put it that way. With some of the stuff that I was getting myself into. So please.
I wasn't doing it at 12. My Lord, my parents would have.
No, I was 14, 15, 16 years old.
Well, I never snuck out, but I don't even think I would have thought of that at 12. But, you know.
Well, and that's what's different though, Salty, is now the phones, we didn't have these phones. We didn't have the internet access. We didn't have the ability for these predators to catch us online, draw us in, pull us out, and then deal with what they have to do. This is what
to make the plans with your friends for once the parents go to bed, I'm out. You know, they'll never know I'm gone. I knew people that did it all the time.
Right.
And I could never understand how y'all sneaking out and not getting caught.
That's
I was terrified of getting caught. There's no way.
Agreed. You know, that goes back to our conversation the other night. I don't remember. You were in here, I think, where we were talking about fear of consequence and stuff like that these kids don't have anymore. And Paula's right. At 12 years old, you guys, I truly do feel that most of us at 12 were still young children in the mind.
Yes, I agree, Paula.
They're not like that anymore, guys. They're 10 years old. They're on their phones. They're
doing dances that are very suggestive that parents snicker about. You know, when their little baby wants to stand up and twerk and they laugh about it, I don't find it comical.
No. They've changed so much. Children are not children anymore, and they're not allowed to stay children anymore, and that's bad. You know, it's a bad thing. Well, there you go, Glitter, 100%. If my dad was a Marine, there's no way in hell that would have happened. Sorry, I just say it.
Right, I agree.
That's part of the problem, but here we are. Like I said.
Yeah.
How are they sure that she didn't slip and fall? How do they know this wasn't an accident? Well, police aren't releasing the exact details, but they do say that they're sure that someone else was involved here, and they want that suspect behind bars.
We believe somebody did this horrible thing to her, and we are here to ask for your help to find out if anybody knows anything, anybody saw anything, and anybody can share that information so we can figure out what happened to her exactly, and we can find whoever did this and get them off the street.
Police say they're also looking over some surveillance footage. But again, if anyone knows anything about this 12-year-old found early this morning, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number is 713-222-TIPS. When you call that number, you remain completely anonymous, and you could get a cash reward for your information. Reporting live in downtown, Abigail Dye, Fox 26 News.
And that's why we do this, so that we can get this out and people can see this. And if they see something or they heard something, here we are. Welcome, Pamela Smith. Thank you for joining us.
I'm sure that all the homeless in that area have been questioned as well, and some of them will talk.
Agreed.
Especially if a child is harmed, they'll say, "Yeah, I saw her walking," or "I saw this one doing that." But then they also will be clammy and not say a word. It can go fucking both ways.
Yes, ma'am.
This damn flip-flopping both ways world we got.
I
We were
mean,
just talking about that in my stream earlier, how things could go both ways.
yes, it can. Very much so. Very much so.
Thanks.
I mean, it is what it is, bro. I'm not
Right.
going to go into that, but I was raised in a certain type of family too, so I know exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a double standard though. I was raised in somewhat that type of a family, but my father, grandfather, and uncle were in law enforcement as well. So figure that one out. Okay.
Hey, Southern born and Southern bred, and I get it.
100%. 100%.
A 21-year-old.
So there's something else I saw earlier that I wanted to bring to you, because this is what we do. This is the stuff we talk about. This is part of the problem. Again, and I know this stuff is all hard stuff to look at, guys, and to talk about, but it needs seen. The awareness needs to be brought, so we're talking about it. Welcome, Break Time. Good to see you. Break Time says we have to remember that all kids have to do is go online to figure out something. That's 100%. That's absolutely. Thank you for bringing in cake, Doodle. I appreciate you with your cake again.
Cake.
Yeah, that's what Doodle does when we talk about bad stuff. So, All right, guys, here goes another one. 1 second here. I don't know how many of you guys have heard about this, but
Old man is under arrest for allegedly killing his 15-year-old girlfriend. Aliana Dickey was found dead inside her home in Lawrence after she didn't show up to her 8th grade graduation on Friday.
I'm going to stop right here.
Wait a minute. Go ahead.
Right here is where I'm stopping to start with. This is another problem, and this is allowed by parents, okay? I don't like this. This man is 21 years old. This child's in 8th grade.
15 years old.
Okay. What's wrong with this? What is wrong with this? Why are people allowing for these things to happen? You are a parent to a child that is 15 years old in 8th grade, and you're allowing a grown 21-year-old man that can go legally drink in a bar to be your daughter's boyfriend?
That's ridiculous, dude. My mom and dad wouldn't have had it.
No.
Dude, I was grown, 19, and dated a guy older, and my dad did not like it.
Right. That's period. End of story. There's no other question to it. Sorry. This makes no sense. And this is happening more and more and more. And this goes all the way back to, and I'm not going to slam these parents right now because they lost their child, but I'm telling you, it starts there. Okay. This goes back to being a parent to your child is all I have to say right there with that. Okay.
Well, allowing your children to grow up too fast in this already fast-paced world.
Right.
And I have spoken to somebody who, even like, for an example, they have a daughter and their sons are embarrassed by the way their mom dresses, like at the beach, the way she flaunts and show it's, and so it's like, as a mom, I'm a naturally kind of conservative person, but as a mom, you need to be a little more, especially if you're not a conservative woman.
100%.
Teach your girls to respect themselves, but at the same time be who they are. But don't, you know what I mean? There's a lot. There's a way to do it at the right way, but don't let them grow up so fast. There's no need for it.
We're our children's role models, folks. And if our
Yeah.
child sees us bouncing around, especially if you have a daughter, okay? If you have a daughter and you're dressing and acting, and I'm not trying to be offensive, but damn, if you're dressing and acting a certain type of way, your daughter's learning from that and is going to do those things as well because mom does it. It's okay. All right.
Exactly. And you see it all the time. And if the mother puts so much emphasis on, say, weight is an example, got to be skinny, got to be skinny. Well, you're setting your girls up for a big failure when they reach a certain age and they put on a few pounds and can't get rid of it easy. Then do you tell them to go do those drastic things they saw you doing?
Yes.
And I think that I don't think people think about it sometimes. They just don't think about it. And I was not that person. I always, every action I took would directly affect my children, right?
The creature was 100 pounds the whole time I knew her. She's still maybe a little bit bigger now, but still. And she was always worried about it. And she caused my 32-year-old daughter and my 28-year-old son to have body dysmorphia because of it, because they were constantly looking at and listening to her. And she even said to him, because he got chubby, you're kind of chunky there, boy, blah, 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 blah. You don't do that to a child. Ever.
No. Mm-mm.
Ever.
You encourage healthy behaviors,
Absolutely.
but you don't ridicule them. Like,
Caden is a little chubby here and there, okay? And he's always...
people can't help their body types. Dago, I don't have a thyroid. I am skinny as a rail, but I've been that way my entire 57 years. They promised me when that thyroid got gone, I was going to gain weight for the first time in my life. Guess what? They were wrong. Still don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and all my life, I had to hear that you're too skinny jokes. Need to take you home and feed you, as if my mom and dad didn't feed me.
Of course.
I'm the last one at the damn table, bitch. I mean,
I get it. I do.
Yeah. I mean, people need to cut. But these little girls were also seeing all these Instagram lives.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge, huge problem for these kids because they have to look up. They think they have to live up to those phony images they're seeing on these Instagram accounts.
Look at this little girl right here, right now. Okay. And God bless her. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But look at how she's presenting herself at this moment. This, to me, for a girl that's in 8th grade, it just doesn't look right to me. I'm sorry. Okay. You see what's in her hand, the probably the most important thing in her life, this phone. Okay. You see she's all jewelried up and she's got her little halter, whatever that is. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a little much for and that's the thing with these clothing. My mom, I dressed pretty radical in the 80s as I was all into heavy metal, but I didn't show things I shouldn't be showing.
Of course.
And my girls didn't do that either, but they never saw me doing that either. But it goes back to what they're exposed to, and not just like at their mom could be totally opposite of what they're seeing on Instagram, and they're just being so influenced by what they're seeing on social media. That's what they're buying and tuning into, and it's insane. And trying to teach these kids that what you're seeing and I have it with my 8-year-old grandson. Baby, what you're watching is fake. It's not real. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Even like the dodo bird, they got trapped in the building in the secret place, and all of the goofy shit they show me. But you have to let them understand that not everything they see is real. And even those people who put out their beautiful lives and images, that none of that's real. And these kids don't understand that.
Agree. I do agree. I do. Absolutely. And like I said, I don't know the full story behind this yet, so I'm not gonna slam the parents yet at this point, but it starts there. That's all I gotta say.
No, I won't slam them. I think they probably realize they've made a huge mistake, but it just threw us off when we heard 15 and 21-year-old. We're like, wait, what?
Immediately. I just said, whoa, hold on. So, yeah. All right, here we go.
Police say she got into an argument with her boyfriend, Trevor Beatty, the night before, and that he shot her after midnight before taking off in an Uber. Police say Beatty had abused the teenager in the past.
What?
We are learning new.
Again, where are the parents in that situation? I'm
So
sorry.
if the police know that she had been abused in the past, how did they know that? Was there ever a report filed? Did someone tell them that? Who told them that? Friend or family? And why didn't the parents know? My daughter comes home beat up. I'm asking questions.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
My God.
I mean, this is what I'm saying. None of this stuff makes any sense to me anymore. That is the biggest problem right there. Okay, that's one of the biggest problems right there. Is a 15-year-old girl dating a grown man, and it's allowed. That I don't understand. I don't even know what to say at that point. Hold on a minute here. Where was that at again? Oh, maybe not. Hold on a minute here. I'm trying to see something. I guess not. Okay, so I'll be looking more into that for sure. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, they got him 7 hours ago. Okay, good.
Good. Yeah, he probably wasn't hard to find.
Here we go. Hold on a minute. That's what I was looking for. You know, you got to bounce to different social media platforms to find things sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. This is the presser on this, I do believe.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I am joined at the podium by Police Superintendent Greg Hudon, Detective Lieutenant William Donahue from the State Police, the Lowell City Manager Thomas Golden, Assistant District Attorney Chris Tarrant. Today, we are announcing that Trevor Beatty, age 21, of Tewksbury, was arrested this afternoon in connection with the murder of 15-year-old Aliana Dickey, which occurred on Lawrence Street in the city at the end of last week, Thursday night into Friday. Mr. Beatty has been charged with murder, armed home invasion, unlawful possession of a firearm, unlawful possession of ammunition, use of a firearm while committing a felony, and discharge of a firearm within 500 feet of the building. He'll be appearing in the Lowell District Court tomorrow morning to be arraigned on those charges. I'm going to speak briefly about the facts of what took place on Thursday into Friday. But I suggest that one of the most important aspects of this case is that Aliana Dickey was first known to be missing when she failed to appear for her 8th grade graduation on Friday morning. Aliana was at the time just 6 weeks past her 15th birthday. Turned 15
So she just turned 15, folks.
Wow.
So basically, she was still 14 years old mentally. And I mean, come on. I don't know where that noise is, guys. This is even worse. Okay.
April the 18th, 2009. Well, she was born on April 18th, 2009. When she did not appear at that graduation, the family members who were awaiting her arrival were concerned and began attempting to locate her. That continued throughout much of Friday. Shortly after 6 o'clock on Friday evening, Aliana's grandmother called the Lowell police and reported that they had found her inside her Lawrence Street home, and they believed that she was certainly hurt and possibly dead. The police arrived. They found Aliana on the floor in the first floor bedroom, suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. Multiple shell casings were also found close to Aliana. Later investigation determined that Aliana had been the victim of abuse from 21-year-old Mr. Beatty, who had been a boyfriend for some period of time. It was learned that Aliana had confided in a number of people that Mr. Beatty had been abusing her and was threatening her as recently as the middle of last week. The Lowell police had received a call around midnight on Thursday night into Friday from an individual who reported that they heard a male and a female fighting outside on the street. The caller reported that she heard that female screaming, "Get off me, get away from me, I don't want to be with you anymore." That caller further reported that they had heard gunshots. Police responded to the scene, but did not locate anyone on the street after a search. Later, recovery of video from that area showed that a young woman, later identified as Aliana, had been on the street at one point with a male, later identified as the defendant, and that events had unfolded as they had been reported by that caller. Police later learned that on June 15th, the defendant allegedly took an Uber to the home of Ms. Dickey on Lawrence Street, and shortly afterwards, he reached the same Uber and took that Uber away from the Lawrence Street area. The driver of that Uber later reported to police that he was concerned by the behavior of that passenger. And he later was able to identify that individual as Mr. Beatty. This afternoon, Mr. Beatty was located inside a residence in Peabody. He was arrested without incident. Obviously, given the tragedy of what has happened, Aliana's family is still grieving, has some very difficult days ahead of them, and has asked that their privacy be respected. As I mentioned, what's important to remember about this incident is that Aliana should have been finishing 8th grade on Friday. And also, the same topic, which I was here just about a week and a half ago speaking about, which is the prevalence and the use of guns in our community. This is at least the 5th individual to die by firearm.
So hold on, I'm sorry to interrupt. Clue already got a hold of Chris, and he knows about that, and he's prepared for that. So thank you, though, very much.
Middlesex County. That does not count individuals who have been shot and have survived that. This time, it's a 15-year-old girl. We just cannot continue to countenance this kind of violence, the use of firearms, and the using a firearm in an argument and turning that from an argument to the tragic loss of life. Those are the important pieces to be thinking about when we consider what happened, and in light of Mr. Beatty and the charges that he'll be facing tomorrow morning. I'm going to turn it over to the superintendent.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd just like to thank District Attorney Marion Ryan and her team for all their support in working through this case to get us to this point today. I'd like to thank the state police and all their detectives who work hand in glove with our detectives in the Criminal Bureau to bring this case where we are. There were multiple agencies and resources that were brought to bear to get us here. I'd just like to mention and thank a few of those other organizations. I'd like to thank the Tewksbury Police Department, the Nashua Police Department, Burlington Police Department, Peabody Police Department, Danvers Police Department, and Saugus Police Department, who in some way or another assisted our detectives and state police detectives in our ongoing investigation.
Thank you, Doodlebug.
Thank the State Police VFAS Unit and Middlesex Sheriff's Office for their support with their personnel that also assisted in our ongoing investigation. Most of all, I'd like to thank the community for their assistance as detectives went, in some cases, door to door, collecting information and video. I'd like to just mention that this is an isolated incident, and with the arrest of the suspect today, that there no longer appears to be any ongoing threat to public safety. And I'd just like to close and thank members of my team, all the detectives and patrol officers who worked very diligently over the entire weekend, virtually 24 hours a day, to bring us to this point today. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. Obviously, given that we're still early in the investigation and Mr. Beatty will be in court tomorrow, I'm happy to take a few questions.
DA Ryan, can you talk a little bit more about the circumstances of the shooting? We were hearing from neighbors that afterwards he tried to pose as her using her cell phone, texting her friends.
Those are all pieces of the investigation that we're still looking at. It's obviously very early. We've been working over the weekend. We await records and other things. We'll have more to say about that as the case goes on.
Can you talk a little bit more about his criminal history? It looks like he was arrested for both a gun charge as well as a previous robbery attempt in the last few years.
That's something else that we'll be talking about at the arraignment tomorrow. Thank you.
So I gotta wonder at this point, because I didn't hear anything about mother or father, but I did hear grandma was looking for her. So that makes me wonder, did she live with grandma? But
Yeah.
they said they found her in her home.
Mm-hmm.
Was she living with this guy?
That's what I don't know yet. Did he shoot her at her house? But it sounds like she could have lived with her grandmother. Grandma could have been raising her.
But
And
grandma said she couldn't find her. And if they lived together, how did you know what I mean? That's weird.
that is weird. Yeah, there's like missing pieces to this or a little bit. Like,
I'm gonna look at something real quick and see. Sometimes you get answers from this, not always, but sometimes.
maybe I can look up this dude's name in his document, his arrest affidavit.
Right.
It will have details in it. I can go on Scribd and check it out.
What school did it say she went to? Was it Calhoun Middle School? No, maybe. No, hold on a minute. I wonder. Nope. Lowell, Massachusetts. Hold on. Okay. On June 14th, 2024, 6:10 p.m., police received a 911 call from a teen's grandmother who said family members found her 15-year-old granddaughter's body inside a Lowell, Massachusetts home where the victim lived. Her family knew the girl was seriously hurt and feared she was deceased. Upon arrival, police found a girl suffering from gun. Okay, and that was her.
The family feared she was deceased.
Yeah, I don't think she was gone at that point.
Yeah.
Or she was just on her, like, probably left there to die. And you guys, this little girl, this is disgusting to me. This little girl looks like a little girl. Okay, that looks like a small child to me that still sits and has cartoons and plays with her Barbie dolls. This and a 21-year-old grown man. If somebody explain something to me, okay?
The grandma may not have been aware of his actual true age.
Right. That's it was, but and I know a lot of grandparents are raising their grandkids now due to the somewhat opioid epidemic and other things that have gone on. It does happen, and there's other things that happen. I'm not saying that's what it was, but there's just different things that go on, at least around here. So, and these grandparents are older guys. They don't get to be involved in their life, the kids' lives as we do as parents in some senses. So therefore, yeah.
Yeah, I know a few grandparents that are raising their teenage grandchildren. It's hard because when you have to play the role of mother and grandmother, and this is a role that I have, it's a dual role. My grandson lost his mom 2 years ago. He's only 8 years old, and she was a heart transplant recipient. She lived for several years. It was the whole thing, it was a medical thing. But she's been gone for 2 years. But I have to take on a role of mom and grandma, and it's a fine line that you have to learn to walk, because you want to be grandma at all times, right? And you don't have that option sometimes. And if you're older and then you got the older kids you're trying to raise, it's even harder. You're disconnected from them, and you know what I mean? You're just more into grandma mode than you are mom mode.
Absolutely. So this seems to be the boyfriend with the girl there. What is a 21-year-old man seeing a 15-year-old girl? How is that? I just don't understand this. I don't get that. That's a better picture. You're a freak.
Yeah, Paula, you're right. The article was stating that there was a fight. Well, the neighbor had heard the fight outside the apartment, right? And the girl screaming to get it, and then heard the gunshot. So was she shot outside, or was she shot? Did she make her way back into the house, apartment, or whatever it was, and he shot her in there?
Very possibly, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it may have started out there in the parking lot.
Well,
Maybe she got back into the house. I don't know.
Right. Thank you, Zelda. A glitter. Right. And it sounds like it was an ongoing relationship that started before this. So, Christ, she could have been dating this guy at 12 and he was 19. It's still weird. I don't understand how a grown man could be interested in a young girl like this. There's
It
it shows
happens all the time, man, unfortunately.
maturity levels. It's just sick. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Unbelievable. So there's that scenario tonight, folks. Sorry, and again, more bad news.
Well,
A 21-year-old.
God Lord. So I'm gonna bring up this what we talked about last night, you guys. To give you a little more in-depth details into the case where the human remains were found.
Hello.
JLR did something. I want to review it in regards to this. This is another weird scenario. This explains a little bit more from my understanding about what actually happened. From my understanding, they did find the two children. Okay. If you guys remember, we went over the guy that unalived or well killed the mother and father, and they couldn't find the babies.
mhm.
They found them. Unfortunately, there was a fire pit that they found these bodies in, per se, the remains, I should say. This is a very strange story, folks, and it gets stranger as we talk about it. Oh, my understanding is it gets very weird here. That's why I wanted to bring you guys the update possibly on this.
There's a bunch of crazy freaks out there. Y'all be careful.
Everything is crazy now. Everything. So, all right, here we go. I know some of you guys probably have seen this. Bobby, what's going on? Good to see you, Bobby, old dude. B. Frank, great to have you. Pamela Smith, what the fox? What's up, brother? Logan Kylie, hello. No, she didn't survive, Logan. Mrs. Mississippi, 1964, Marcy. I love that. I'm a Charlie Brown fan. Mama Three Boys, welcome, guys. It's great to see you tonight. Lala, hello to you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Zelda. Break time, everybody that jumped in here. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. All right, moving on. Let's check this one out.
Now the undersigned attorney files a notice of appearance as counsel representing Rory Atwood in the above style case and requests notification of any hearings, please. This is basically an attorney, public defender, I would assume, right? Yep, public defender's office. So this is his attorney right now. Shatia Gay Hairston. So that would be, according to public documents, that would be the court documents that's listed on the public website. That is his attorney. So let's talk about the affidavit. Let's get the details of what this monster.
What's up, Ace's mama?
What he said, what was his explanation. A lot of times defendants say things in affidavits, not necessarily true, but it's very telling. So I have the affidavit here. I have the arrest affidavit of him. It says something interesting. It says the work of employment is AC merchandising. So that's interesting. We looked on his profile. He said something like he was involved with some cremating services and a lube place in Port Richey, Florida. But according to the arrest affidavit, and he was also born in Oconee, Florida, Oconee, Florida. He's listed as 5'10", 170 pounds, 25 years old, listed as white male. So I'm just telling you some of the descriptions here. I'm not going to show that front page because I got some stuff there that isn't redacted, but we're going to go down to the specifically including facts about this case and what happened here. So I'm going to start from right here in the affidavit, and we are going to share what's going on. On June 13th, 2024, at approximately 14:22 hours, the Pasco County Sheriff's Office received a welfare check for Rain Mancini, Philip Zilliott III, and Karma Zilliott, the latter two being juveniles. The caller advised her brother received a call from the defendant, Rory Atwood, who requested help burning trash. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold his photo up while I read the affidavit so we can just be reminded of this evilness out there, right? So here we go. Here's what I'm going to read. I'm going to hold this photo up, and we're going to read at the same time. So it's saying, the brother stated he observed a puddle of blood and could see adult and child bodies over the video phone call. Deputies arrived on the scene and spoke with the defendant, who denied any knowledge of Rain Mancini's, Philip Zilliott's III, or Karma Zilliott's deaths. The defendant stated Rain Mancini, Philip, both Phillips, Karma, had walked away from the property on the evening of June 12th, 2024. So there you go. He's already lying. Deputies conducted a consensual search of the residence and part of the yard and did not locate anything suspicious at that time. While conducting their search of the property, deputies observed a fire pit in the backyard of the property, which was actively smoldering and smoking. On June 14, 2024, at approximately 12:49 hours, the Pasco County Sheriff's Office received a call for service from Brian Burpee. Brian advised the defendant admitted to killing his roommates and their children. Okay, so we got a cooperating witness right here. Brian Burpee. On June 14, 2024, at approximately 15:25 hours, Deputy Chandler initiated a follow-up investigation call for a service back at the listed location. Upon arrival, Deputy Chandler made contact with the defendant, who again advised that Rain and both Phillips and Zilliot and Karma, both Phillips, Karma, and Rain still had not returned back to the residence. The defendant advised Deputy Chandler that he kicked out Rain, both Phillips, and Karma 2 weeks ago from the residence. That's a lie. The defendant advised Rain, Phillips, and Karma had taken all their belongings with them when they left. Deputies again conducted a consensual search of the residence, and Deputy Chandler observed items belonging to Rain, both Phillips, and Karma inside the residence. So he lied. Deputy Chandler asked the defendant about the items, and the defendant stated the victims did not have time to take the items with them. You know, it's always up a lie, followed up by another lie, followed up by another lie. On June 14, 2024, your affiant responded to the address and observed portions of the property. Your affiant discovered there was a fire pit in the rear yard of the property, which consisted of various unburned items on top of and ash and various burned debris at the base of the fire pit. Your affiant observed apparent steel threads from the inner portion of vehicle tires, which indicated an intense heat during a prior fire. Your affiant estimated the fire pit was approximately 10 feet in diameter. During the investigation, your affiant observed a Pasco County Sheriff's Office cadaver dog removed an item from the fire pit. Your affiant observed Dina Huggins, senior training analyst, STA for First and Indies handler, remove the item from the dog's mouth. Your affiant viewed the item, which appeared to be small skeletal remains. That's tough. Your affiant learned forensic science administrator with First Austin Palintesa responded to the scene, and he located apparent human long bone fragments on the surface of the burn pit. Austin informed your affiant he also found 2 apparent human vertebrae, all of which had apparent thermal damage to them. Austin informed your affiant he observed the item that Indy, the cadaver dog, pulled from the burn pit and was able to identify as an item of a human skeletal remains containing soft tissue. Your affiant then spoke with STA Hutchins, who stated Indy showed a change of behavior on the front porch of the property, and STA Hutchins could smell a strong odor of possibly chlorine around the front porch. These criminals always want to pour chlorine and try to get rid of the evidence. STA Hutchins informed your affiant during the search of the front porch area, Indy barked several times. STA Hutchins informed your affiant that Indy's final response for a positive hit is a continuous bark, so her training led her to believe that Indy either smelled a diluted odor or couldn't pinpoint the exact location of human remains. Your affiant spoke with Detective Dana Brandt, who responded to 4715 Carpin Street, Newport Richey, Pasco County, at around 10 p.m. to speak with Thomas Simpson. And we got Thomas Simpson. Detective Brandt learned that Thomas Simpson has been friends with the defendant, along with Brian Burpee and Philip Zilliot, since high school. Thomas Simpson said he received a FaceTime call on June 13th, 2024 at around 2 a.m. from the defendant's cell phone, and it lists the cell phone. Thomas Simpson said that during the phone call, the defendant was asking for his help repeatedly and said he killed them. Thomas Simpson advised the defendant, specifically said Rain and PJ, who he known to be a male named Philip, had an argument on the porch and he killed them. So apparently this happened on his porch. That's why there was chlorine all over the porch detected. It seems like it went down on the porch of his residence.
And this is very possibly going to get worse here in a minute, guys. And it blew my mind when I heard what I think I heard. So,
Detective Brandt advised your affiant he re-interviewed Destiny Gray on June 15, 2024, at approximately 4 a.m. Destiny Gray said that while visiting on the evening of June 12, 2024, Rain Mancini was sitting on a yellow or beige couch in the living room. Philip Zilliot was pacing back and forth, and the defendant was sitting in a rolling chair in the living room. Destiny Gray said also she knows the defendant has firearms and has seen them personally. Destiny Gray also states that he stores some of his firearms on beams or trusses above the window by the front door in the residence. Detective Brandt said he watched Deputy Chandler's body-worn camera footage from June 14, 2024 while he was inside the defendant's house and noticed that there was no longer a couch inside the living room, as described by Destiny Gray. Oh, he's getting rid of evidence. Your affiant spoke with Detective Randall Jones, who came to the residence and met with the defendant. Detective Jones stated the defendant advised he evicted Rain, both Phillips, and the kids on June 1st, 2024. That's a lie, for failure to pay rent. The defendant said he then saw them on the evening of June 12th when they came by unexpectedly and stayed for a few hours. The defendant claimed that Rain and Phillip then gathered their belongings and walked away from the property. The defendant said that Rain told him she was going to stay at a woman's shelter with the kids, and Phillip advised he was going to stay in a tent at a nearby park. The defendant claimed to have had no contact with Rain, Phillip, or the children since June 12th, 2024. The defendant told Detective Jones that he has a T-Mobile cell phone plan with at least 4 phones on his plan. Detective Jones said that during his interview, the defendant said that the sheriff's office might find horse bones on the property. And he also inquired about how fast human flesh would decompose, suggested bodies wouldn't decompose in a day. Detective Jones said he learned the defendant has a daughter, Tabitha Atwood, who is 4 years old, and he identified Tabitha's mother as Jade Fiore. Detective Jones said he spoke with Jade, who said that the defendant picked up Tabitha from her the night of June 12th, 2024, between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m., and that he was supposed to keep her for several days. Jade said she missed 2 calls from the defendant on June 13th at 2:54 a.m., so it seems like he's been calling around people that early morning, but then answered another phone call from him around 2:57 a.m. James stated that the defendant was panicked and said that there had been some sort of altercation. So now he's calling money people, right? And he had to bring Tabitha back home to her. Jade stated that the defendant arrived at a residence with Tabitha around 5:30 a.m. and 5:45 a.m. and dropped her off, and he was driving a blue BMW sedan. He has a BMW? Jade said that the defendant was only wearing a baseball cap, possibly green, and red shorts with white trim, and he had not been acting himself. Detective Jones told your affiant that he then responded to Jade's residence at 6740 at Flicker Lane, Pasco County, and met with Tabitha on June 15th at 12:27 a.m. Detective Jones relayed that Tabitha immediately told him that Rain was arguing while he was at her dad's house, and Phillip and their children were at the residence. On June 15th, 2024, your affiant conducted a non-custodial interview with the defendant, who stated on Wednesday, 6/12, Phillip, Rain, Phillip, and Karma traveled to his residence located at Nottingham Trail in Hudson, Florida. The defendant informed your affiant the family was provided transportation by their cousin. The defendant informed your affiant the cousin remained outside of the residence and soon left the property. However, Phillip, Rain, Phillip, and Karma entered the residence. The defendant informed your affiant that Phillip, Rain, Phillip, and Karma were previously residing in the residence from an unspecific date in May up until June 2020. Hey, what happened to my picture? Up to June 1st. Up to June 1st. When he told them to leave due to lack of rental payment. The defendant informed your affiant an argument occurred between Phillip and Rain, and he decided to leave the property with his juvenile daughter. The defendant informed your affiant while traveling in his vehicle down the driveway at approximately 11 p.m. to midnight, he observed Phillip, Rain, Phillip, and Karma walking down the same driveway towards Nottingham Trail. The defendant informed your affiant this was the last time he observed Phillip, Rain, Phillip, and Karma, and he denied knowledge of their current location. The defendant denied killing Phillip, Rain, Phillip, and Karma, or burning their bodies. But some incriminating statements already. So he's denying. As of now, we'll see what happens. The defendant informed your affiant he has been living at the residence for the majority of his life, and there are currently no other residents at that location except for him. So there we go. We were speculating who does he live with. He lives alone. The defendant informed your affiant there had been no visitors to his property since late Wednesday night after Phillip, Rain, Phillip, and Karma were observed walking away from the driveway. The defendant informed your affiant only Phillip Zilliot II and himself burned items in the fire pit located on the property. On 6/15/2024, your affiant conducted a custodial interview with the defendant, who initially denied involvement in Phillip, Rain, Phillip, and Karma's deaths or knowledge of their current location. The defendant eventually admitted the bodies of Phillip, Rain, Phillip, and Karma were all currently located in the fire pit on his property, and their bodies were burned. Got a confession, folks. We have a confession.
There's more coming to this, though, and it made me start to wonder. We're going to talk about it as soon as we hear it here in a minute.
The defendant stated on Wednesday, 6/12/2024, or Thursday, 6/13, so in the overnight, he was inside his bedroom when Phillip Zilliot and Rain entered his bedroom. The defendant informed your affiant that Phillip possessed an unknown type knife, and the two engaged in a fight. The defendant informed your affiant he disarmed Phillip and the knife dropped to the floor. The defendant informed your affiant that Philip punched with a closed fist the left side of his head. However, he did not sustain any injuries. The defendant informed your affiant during this physical attack by Philip, he observed Ray Mancini on the bed within the same bedroom, and she also possessed a knife, which she was used to poke the defendant's juvenile daughter in the throat. The defendant informed your affiant he drove onto the bed and forced Rain onto the floor, and she dropped the knife. The defendant informed your affiant he threw the knife out of the bedroom, and then he heard a noise, which he discovered was a handgun, which Philip dropped onto the bedroom floor. The defendant informed your affiant that Philip retrieved the gun. However, he was able to disarm Philip, and he tossed the gun out of the bedroom. The defendant informed your affiant he exited the bedroom, and both Rain and Philip followed him into the living room, specifically near the front door. The defendant informed your affiant he tried to obtain the knife, which he previously threw out of the bedroom, with his feet while keeping his hands and body ready for another potential attack from Philip. The defendant informed your affiant that Philip obtained the handgun from the floor, and both parties began struggling over the firearm. The defendant informed your affiant that Rain was engaging in the fight while the two males were struggling over the firearm. Rain sustained multiple gunshot wounds to her torso and head. The defendant informed your affiant he was able to redirect the firearm back towards Philip, and he pulled the trigger, which resulted in Philip sustaining 2 gunshot wounds to the head. The defendant informed your affiant that Philip fell backwards and made contact with the couch, which resulted in blood transfer onto the couch. The defendant informed your affiant that both Rain and Phillips died in the living room of his residence.
Lala, this is what we're going to be getting to in a minute. Just hold on a minute.
The defendant informed your affiant after the shooting in the living room, he discovered there was a fire in the fire pit on the property, which Philip and Rain must have created. Unbelievable. During the statement by the defendant, he did not disclose what happened to Philip Zilliot III or Karma. So he doesn't share what happens to the kids. So again, folks, this is this guy's version. Makes no sense. Oh, yeah, I redirected the gun and it hit him. Come on, man. And then he doesn't know what happened to the kids. During further questioning, the defendant informed your affiant he suspected Philip and Rain killed their 2 children. Philip, unbelievable. Now he's blaming, prior to their deaths, he's blaming the mother and father for killing their own children. You got to be kidding me. Philip Zilliot and Karma, however, he could not provide a cause of death. The defendant informed your affiant he witnessed Philip punching Philip II punching Philip III with a closed fist in the kitchen area of the residence prior to the altercation in his bedroom. Yeah, right. The defendant informed your affiant that Karma was also in the kitchen area, and Philip Zilliot III, Philip Zilliot II, and Karma then entered their bedroom. The defendant informed your affiant after the 2 juveniles entered their bedroom and proceeded to the master bedroom, and he did not see the children again. What a bunch of crock, right? The defendant informed your affiant that he used adrenaline to drag Rain and Philip from the living room out the front porch and to the fire pit located on the property. The defendant stated he placed Rain and Philip into the fire, which was already ignited, without sustaining any injuries to his own body. The defendant informed your affiant he discarded the couch from his living room into the fire because of the blood evidence. The defendant informed your affiant he didn't remember cleaning the interior of the residence, but if he did clean, then he would have disposed of the towels and or cleaning items into the fire. The defendant advised your affiant that he threw the firearm used to kill Rain and Philip in the middle of the fire pit, and it was burned. The defendant was photographed, and he lacked any significant injuries to include, but not limited to, the injuries from a burn or physical altercation. The defendant informed your affiant he has an active cellular phone and acknowledged he never dialed 911 to report the alleged child abuse, shooting, or location of the 4 defendants. Based on the investigation, the defendant perpetrated with a premeditated design the death of at least Philip Zilliot II and Ray Mancini. The defendant then cleaned the crime scene and discarded the evidence and both victims into a fire pit located on the defendant's property. The defendant burned the 2 victims and evidence within the fire pit and repeatedly lied to patrol deputies and detectives during the initial investigation into the disappearance of Philip, Rain, Philip, and Karma. During a post-Miranda interview, the defendant admitted to involvement to the death of both adult victims and admitted to acknowledge both juveniles were also burned in the same fire pit. Case closed.
Okay. Now, once again, this is some crazy shit, okay? I wondered why this guy called... excuse me, I'm sorry. Why this guy called somebody and told somebody he did this, okay? If you're going to do this, typically people don't say, hey, I just killed somebody. It's a 10 by 10 fire pit, they said, in the affidavit. It's big. So it's probably in a rural area. Yeah, I have one out here like that too. I don't know. Okay, I gotta agree with JLR that it does sound like bullshit, and maybe it's possibly just him trying to get out of what happened. Okay, but I've never heard somebody do this and then call somebody and say I did this. You know, that's a little weird to me. So hearing him say that he believes that the parents did that to their children themselves, started the fire and did what they were doing. Okay. I started to wonder if that was what the argument started over. I'm not saying this is what happened, guys. I'm giving another perspective. Okay. If that started the argument, possibly, and blah, blah, blah. Okay. I don't believe that's what happened. If we're going to look at it from that angle, maybe. But I truly just think the guy's trying to get out of what he did, and that's what this is all about. I don't know what's up with my hair tonight. So anyway, this is just strange. Another weird ass strange scenario.
It's crazy.
I am old, I get by, but if you're a man wearing pearls, I cannot take you seriously. Coming from BJ. Okay, thank you. Mima, welcome. Didn't the dad say this guy had gun on him before? See, that's what I had thought too. What is going through people's minds nowadays? I don't understand it anymore. Like, people are burning people and doing. I mean, what in God's name is going on? I'm telling you guys,
There's a lot of unchecked people out there.
I swear to God, I told you guys, and we're just going to need to do it one of these days, that we need to have a mental health show, because I'm telling you, mental health is a lot of what's going on, in my opinion, and it's way off key, way off center, and way the hell out there in some senses. But people are just going crazy, it seems like, anymore.
Well, you got a lot of, I don't know this guy's background or history, but, was there drugs? A lot of these people that, get hooked on these damn drugs they got out today, it ain't like the psychedelic days, you know what I mean? It's like hardcore changing your chemistry, the whole thing, the poisons they're putting in their bodies to get high on are destroying their brains and doing things to them, and these are sometimes the results. They do these really off the wall, bizarre, sick things. And then you got people who don't do drugs that do them as well. Look at Chad Daybell. He burned those children in his backyard.
That's what I'm saying. Like, where do these things even come from? Like, how do these people's minds okay this kind of stuff to be
right?
done? I can't, like, if a thought like this came through my mind, I would take myself and admit myself to a hospital. Period.
Yeah, and then you act on it, and then try to justify it in your mind, and then tell yourself you didn't even do it. Like, I think that was part of what Stern's issue was. I don't think he allowed himself to realize what he did. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It does. It definitely makes. Whoa, what happened here? It definitely makes sense. I got to agree with you on that one. I definitely got to agree with you. Thanks, Molly. Definitely. These things. Yeah, but see, I don't see fentanyl doing that to people. This is like, fentanyl puts people out, folks. This is like mind altering, decision making, like weird, crazy shit that's going down. I don't know.
What was that? What was that? The bath salts or whatever it was called.
Oh,
that was
yeah,
going
the
around
zombie.
for a while. Yeah, like shit like that. We
Yeah,
don't know what they're. We don't know what people are. I mean, I try to keep up with what's going on because I got a kid, but I don't know all the crazy things people do out there.
This here, Ace's mama says meth will. It makes you go, your mind races. You do these crazy things. You think people are after you. My oldest child.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm not ashamed. It is what it is. I experienced this with him. I had a phone call at 3 a.m. where he's hiding in the woods thinking people are watching him, and I had to go pick him up. It was bad. It was bad. I went through hell, guys, before I had to separate myself finally and to walk away. you can only do what you can do. I had another child that was young that I had to worry about raising, and I couldn't do it anymore. I did everything I could do to help this child, and he couldn't stop. And I understand what happens to people when you see this happen, and it destroys people from the inside out. So I don't even know. You know, a lot of people have been saying that lately, Mad Jen, that when we were all on lockdown, that it got into people's heads, and people being locked up for 2 years, and I mean, it changed me. I did gain a lot more anxiety from it, but it didn't make me go crazy. These are choices in some senses too. And I gotta agree that methamphetamine will cause some crazy things to happen. So
yeah, I mean, if I can't blame the pandemic on anything really, because I feel like we was a world full of adults told to act right for a little while till we get the shit under control, but everybody went buck fucking crazy instead, and all kinds of weirdness happened, and blah blah blah, and fighting. And it turned into this big horrible. That's what destroyed people, was the fighting over it. So a lot of this, that shit's over and done with. That's like, we need to move forward.
Yes.
I think what it did do, and what they're all right about, is it turned a lot of people towards the internet that never had it before, or really didn't get in there a lot.
Right.
And of course, when you can't leave the house, you're finding other things to entertain yourself, and who knows what crap people were exposing themselves to,
I
that
agree.
they may not have ordinarily would have done. So I don't know. There's so many factors that can go into it, and it comes back to their mental health. You don't have to be a drug addict to have mental health issues.
Very true.
But the people who do these bizarre murders and stuff, they've got extreme issues somewhere. And that don't mean they're all just going to get off on the crazy card either. We can't let that happen either. Because you gotta, I mean, you can have a horrible childhood, but at some point you grow up and you have a choice. Like Dago has said that many times himself. At some point you have a choice to continue you can continue to do what you've known all your life, or you can say, you know what, wait a minute,
You
I'm
break
making
that
a change. You break that cycle. That's right.
Agreed. I mean, it's a choice. It really, listen, guys, I said it myself. I was not always the nicest person. Being married to the creature for 9 years hardened me. I became a very angry person. I was mean. I was unhappy. I was miserable. Even after I broke away from that, you'd think that would stop. But no, it was something I was conditioned to. I had a lot of anxiety. I didn't trust anybody, especially not women, because, she was just, you learned that type of feeling. And I didn't like who I was. And this is different than what we're kind of talking about, but in a way it's the same. I broke that cycle of who I was and decided I wanted to be a happier, more positive, helpful person, and promote myself in a different type of way. And I did it myself because I didn't like who I was. It was a choice. It wasn't something I was stuck in. It wasn't because of what happened to me. Everybody goes through shit, folks.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through shit. It's not an excuse to do these things. It's a choice, and it's our choice to change it. So that's an excuse to me that I won't accept. I'm sorry. So just saying. Welcome, Groot, and me.
Some people don't learn the skills they need. Like if they did have a bad upbringing, you're just not taught the normal skills.
Right.
Of how to function in society, and how to behave, and how to be polite, and do all the things that we normally would do in life. Some people out there absolutely have no idea how to do all of that.
I agree. I do.
They didn't have any role models showing them how to do it. They got, so some of it can be explained, but still you make a choice when you grow up to either be that same or fix it.
Agreed. I do agree. Hey, Shay, good to see you. So this is the newest presser. This was released an hour ago on this case, just to give you guys the absolute details from law enforcement. I know we heard what we heard from him, but I'd rather you guys get facts from law enforcement so you know exacts on everything. and I'm sure that they put a little bit more out than what was out from that. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this, and then we'll have it all. So,
disturbing new details on the murder of who had been missing in Hudson. Just hours ago, detectives wrapped up another day of searching a home on Nottingham Trail in Hudson. It belongs to a man now charged with first-degree murder. And this is Night Tide. I'm Dave Wagner.
And I'm Carolina Lead. An arrest affidavit says Roy Atwood admitted to killing the mother and father and saying all 4 bodies were burned in a fire pit.
10 Tampa Bay's Chris Hurst is in Land O'Lakes at the Pasco County Detention Center tonight, where he's still in jail as we speak. Chris, we learned a lot from that affidavit today.
And Dave and Carolina, that affidavit is quite horrific. The detective writes that Rory Atwood, charged so far with 1 count of murder, as you said, admitted to them to killing the parents of this family. That's Philip Zilliott and Rain Mancini. A friend told deputies that in a video call with Atwood, he could see the bodies of adults and children.
If there wasn't evil in this world, we wouldn't have to pray as much.
Pasco County detectives spent a third.
okay, so there's the answer to that right there. If you guys didn't catch that, he made a video call, and whoever was in the video call said he could see the bodies of adults and children. So there's your answer, in my opinion.
If there wasn't evil in this world, we wouldn't have to pray as much.
Pasco County detectives spent a third straight day scouring Rory Atwood's home east of Hudson.
It is a difficult case, and this will be an ongoing case, and there's a lot of things that we still have to run down and a lot of things that we still have to solve.
The medical examiner still hasn't confirmed that the sets of human remains found in Atwood's fire pit are, in fact, Philip Zilliott, Rain Mancini, 6-year-old Karma Zilliott, and 5-year-old Philip Zilliott III. Atwood told detectives he killed the couple after a fight last Wednesday and burned their bodies.
Sorry, it's up, sped up. My apologies. Forgot that it was sped up like that. There we go.
But told a friend he killed all 4 members of the family. And deputies found no marks or injuries on Atwood showing a fight took place.
The problem with the heat damage is that it breaks the DNA into itty-bitty pieces.
David Middleman runs Othram Labs, which tests DNA samples for law enforcement to identify human remains. He says fire chemically damages DNA, making it harder to confirm who it is.
And so if the DNA is in small fragments, or it isn't really recognizable as proper DNA, it can be hard to read that DNA using today's technology and equipment.
It's not clear what exactly else detectives may be looking for on the property. Atwood told a friend he killed the couple on the porch, which later smelled of chlorine.
It'll be a challenge to work the case, but it's not impossible. It can be done. Medical examiners and coroners can do what's called a comprehensive ID and look at all the circumstantial evidence together to make an identification.
Now, Atwood pleaded not guilty in his first court appearance this morning. A deputy on scene told us tonight that they do plan to be back out there again, searching the property for a 4th day. Live in Pasco County, Chris Hurst, 10 Tampa Bay.
Well, there it is. Based on what law enforcement has stated, that's just crazy, you guys. It is absolutely crazy to me. Oh, Lord have mercy. More and more every day.
Oh yeah, if you scour the news, there's so many things out there, and there was this guy I was just reviewing the other day. I didn't really dive into it or anything, but I was going to look into it, just haven't had a chance yet, but I don't even know where it's at, so I'm not even going to pretend to guess. But anyway, apparently his girlfriend went missing, or wife, years ago. And then, like, recently another one, but they're found 2 bodies in his cellar so far. And I'm like, damn, these people with these repeat people that go missing in their lives, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How many? It's so rare. Even like with the Wells story, when you were covering that earlier, was it Candace's sister disappeared or something?
Rose Bly, yeah, her sister had been disappeared.
Going on the Crystal Rogers case, when Crystal disappeared, one thing her boyfriend didn't know about was that 30 years prior, Crystal's aunt disappeared. Tommy Ballard's sister.
Tommy Ballard, yeah, I remember hearing that.
Yeah, and she was murdered, but it was by her husband. But they didn't know that right away, so she was, technically missing.
Right.
And Sherry has wondered, did that cross his mind when he was thinking of what to do with Crystal? You know, like she could just go missing like her aunt did all those years ago. But what is the odds of it happening in the same? You know what I mean?
Oh
It's
yeah.
just it's
Yeah.
crazy that it does happen and it can, but damn.
Agreed. It is. It's just like wow. You know, what do you even say to some of this stuff? It's crazy.
I know.
This story I was reading earlier too, or listening to earlier too. This is really sad to me, but it's something again. You know, we talk about mental health facilities, and we talk about resources that are out there and why, and there's some of them they're not. Things that go on. It just shows the negligence, for lack of better terms, of things that do go on in scenarios like this, and it kind of bugs me a little bit. So I figured I would show this to you guys as well. A little bit of everything, like I said.
We have a client, an adolescent client that's unresponsive. How old is the subject? 16. Oh my God. It's so scary, yeah.
A young girl, one of thousands sent to Utah's troubled teen industry for help, found dead one morning in her bed at Vive Adolescent Care here in St. George last July.
I took her there in hopes that they could help her. I have her ashes. That's what they gave me back.
Her cause and manner of death, undetermined.
This is a perplexing case. Anytime you go out and there's a 16-year-old who's deceased, that's not normal.
Prosecutors declined to charge the facility, which faced a $1,000 fine from the state. Records show staff failed to follow policies meant to ensure she was breathing throughout the night, and didn't realize she was dead for up to 10 hours.
Your child's never supposed to go before you.
I'm Fox 13 investigative reporter Taylor Stevens. I spoke with Ariana Dueñez's parents about what went wrong that night and why they think there still needs to be accountability for what happened to their daughter.
This is Ariana's room. Yeah, she's a big rainbow lover.
Ariana Dueñez's bedroom is as bright and colorful as the 16-year-old girl it belonged to.
So we haven't really touched anything. We just, we left everything as.
Her bed covered with stuffed animals. Her shoes lined up in the closet. Her clothes still on their hangers, and her gecko, Pixie, in his tank. Ariana's bright light shone through her art.
She painted this, like she would paint things and just be like, look, Mom.
Ariana's mother, Maggie Montalongo, and her stepfather, Daniel Bissinger, remember her as fearless. A supportive friend, an adoring big sister who loved animals and had a vibrant personal style.
Affirmations and quotes: I am confident, I am successful, I am powerful, I am strong, I am getting better and better every day. She was really trying.
When she grew up, Ariana wanted to be an advocate for other children who also struggled with mental health. Montalongo says Ariana struggled in school when she was young and became disruptive in class as she got older.
When schools aren't able to educate your child or be able to have her in class, they seek other options. Our daughter was not in school and she was falling behind, and we were looking for guidance, and because we didn't know what to do. And so that turned into years of RTCs in and out of California.
In these RTCs, or residential treatment centers, her parents say Ariana became addicted to drugs. In their efforts to help her, they looked to Utah.
We were desperate.
Utah is one of the top states in the country for so-called troubled teen facilities. Allegations of mistreatment and abuse led the state recently to implement new oversight of the industry. Ariana spent 7 months at Falcon Ridge in southern Utah. But after she began expressing suicidal urges, she was transferred in May of 2023 to Vive Adolescent Care in St. George. There, as Ariana continued to express cravings for illicit drugs, a nurse practitioner suggested trying Suboxone, an opioid addiction medication not often prescribed to youth.
Instantly, I was like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. That's a class 3 medication. And from what I've heard, that's a medication that you give to somebody that is in the process of withdrawing. So I told him, Ariana's been sober for over 8 months. So it doesn't make sense to give her this medication.
But after a weekend deliberating as a family, they agreed to give it a try. When they spoke to Ariana over the next few days,
Tranquilized, basically, and her respiratory tract was probably depressed from being paralyzed per se and couldn't breathe. Because it says it right here, pulmonary edema. Okay, linear scars of the upper extremities and right thigh. Those could have been old though.
Yeah, they're scars. So
right,
but
femoral.
that's a crazy list of medications
That's too much for this little girl.
Yeah, and so she apparently wasn't monitored throughout the night for somebody so heavily medicated.
You don't tranquilize a child and then don't check on her throughout the night. This is why I'm showing you guys this, okay? This is insanity to me. I'm sorry. So we're trying to save our children, okay? There's a reason for this whole thing. I'm showing you this. We're trying to save our children. These parents are doing what they were supposed to do. As a parent, I commend them for this, okay? They take their child. They did this against what they wanted to do initially. They did not want to put this child on this medication. They did not want to put her into this place, but they did it against their own, their own thoughts. And here's where we're at now. They put her on a massive dose. I mean, we got 27 olanzapine, 27 milligrams of olanzapine. Carbazepine is 170 of fluoxetine. That's a lot for this. She was a little girl. And then on top of that, Suboxone, which suppresses your breathing to begin with, okay? Because it's basically does the same thing like what an opioid would do. Sorry. And didn't check on her for more than 10 hours. She should have been monitored the entire night, especially being on a brand new medication.
Getting vitals at least, to monitor.
Every so often, yes. So often. And so they dropped the ball. This child died. So what are we supposed to do when we're trying to help our children to deal with the issues that they're dealing with nowadays? We do that, and we still have these issues happening.
Well, part of the problem there with that state was these places were going unchecked for so long. So things are happening that fall through the cracks that don't get reported. They covered this stuff up. You know what I mean? Things happen.
100%.
And if the death doesn't occur, little mishaps here and there, they cover these things up, keep it a secret, and people aren't aware of them. And then there's parents out there who are they feel like they're battling these people. They may not even realize there are other reports or accusations being leveled against a facility. So you got to wonder, if you go to put your kid in somewhere like this, of course you're going to check them out and do all the things, but you just got to hope they're doing right. And with the state bringing in regulations and watching these businesses, because that's what they are.
Yep.
That's what's going to force the change.
Right.
And they should have always been under some mandatory watchful eyes, especially if they're taking in children.
Agreed. Unhoused person says that is not the actual dosages the kid was on. That is the level measured from blood. Right. Well, still, the point is that all of these medications were in her bloodstream. All of these medications were in her body, and she wasn't being monitored as she should be, based on what I understand about this type of stuff. Okay. One of these, again, like it was said in here, is Prozac. So we have multiple, I call them tranquilizers because they're mood stabilizers. Okay. Multiple mood stabilizers, I'll say, along with, Suboxone. Respiratory depression. It's going to lock this down, guys. This is crazy. Well, and this is just a little, we saw how little she was. This is what I'm saying. This is why people don't do these things. This is why people are afraid to do these things. Perfect example right here.
But while the autopsy didn't raise red flags about her medication, Ariana's parents believe the drug Suboxone, which can cause vomiting, combined with the other medications she was taking in a way that contributed to her death. They're now working to obtain a second autopsy.
Totally healthy 16-year-old girl has a strong heart. There's no other explanation.
After Ariana's death, the Utah Department of Health and Human Services investigated Vive's policies and procedures. Records from the department show that Vive staff failed to follow the facility's own policies for 15-minute checks, a self-harm precaution for all clients.
There it is right there. Every 15 minutes, they weren't doing it. I hope those parents own this facility at this point. I absolutely.
You know that big lawsuit's coming. And I don't blame them.
I hope that it's not going to bring their child back, but it'll at least put
It'll
some
send a message.
Yes, that's it. There's going to be a message, and I'm doing this to bring awareness to these situations that need to be seen and heard. That's all I'm trying to do. It's very sad. It's very sad. I had to turn the camera off because it started to bug me a little bit. This is sad. So I just don't get it.
They looked in on her throughout the night, but did not ensure she was breathing, though staff claimed they heard her snoring throughout the night, and one said he saw her breathing at 7:59 a.m., about 30 minutes before they pronounced her dead.
They would come up to the doorway, look in, verify she was in there. I know that there was also mention by two of the employees that were working throughout the night that said that there were times that they heard her snoring.
Records also show staff didn't check on Ariana at all for an hour and a half, from around 6 to 7:30 the morning of her death. But the state found they'd signed off on those checks as if they'd been done.
And this is what happens. This is exactly what happens. People cut corners. This is your job. People cut corners because they're lazy.
That's uncalled for.
It is because they have to check on 25 different people. Well, okay, this one's okay. That one's okay. I want to hurry up and get to my break so I can smoke my damn cigarette.
Right.
That one and that one. This is what happens, you guys, and it happens everywhere. They did not check on her. She was not snoring. She was not breathing. Because here's the thing. If that was the case, they could have epinephrine. Something would have worked, but they said she was already blue and that rigor mortis had set in and released by that time, and she went to modeling at that point. Okay, when you start to model, that means you've been in and out of rigor mortis already, and you are already positioning. That's been a period of time, guys, not a half hour, not 45 minutes, not an hour. It's been a period of time. That's a problem. That means they lied. They didn't do their job, and I'll be damned. I'll be damned. That's sick. I'm sorry.
And my daughter was not breathing.
Vive also did not have a licensed registered nurse on duty that morning, as it was required to. One of 4 instances over the week where that was the case. Her parents can't help but wonder, could the outcome have been different had the facility checked to ensure Ariana was breathing?
You know, whether a defibrillator would have worked, whether it wouldn't have, the point is, Ariana never got that choice. She never got that chance. We'll never know because of their neglect.
But the Department of Health and Human Services ultimately determined the non-compliance hadn't led to Ariana's death. Their final decision? a $1,000 fine. You do just have to wonder if those respiration checks had been, regularly done, would there have been a point at which they realized, something was wrong with this girl?
Well, in this case, and I think you bring up, you wonder, but what we can say is that there was no direct cause in our investigation.
Okay, so Elizabeth, that is given to people that in some senses are going through withdrawal because it can cause convulsion, it causes seizures sometimes, so on and so forth. The problem is with this is this little girl was 8 months sober already. She did not need to be on this. They did this, in my opinion, to collect insurance money off of the things. It's a program they have, okay? So they're giving them everything they can, and whatever their protocol is for whatever their program, and they're charging this to the insurance company. That didn't need to be. She didn't need to be on Suboxone, though. If she was 8 months clean and was not doing anything, why did they need to put her on Suboxone at a young age like that? You don't need it. You don't need the I can never say this one. Hydroxychloroquine.
And they claimed it was because she was having the cravings, but if I'm not mistaken, when you are an addict, you will battle those lifelong cravings.
Of course.
So if you're not actively, like the mom said, withdrawing, that medication is not going to do you any good. And like someone in the comments said, if you don't need the medication, it's going to act differently with you.
You're also causing another addiction. Suboxone is just as addicting as an opiate is. Okay.
Yes, I know people, 2 of them actually, and I only know the one because she's friends with the other girl. And so I didn't know this, but like they were doing that shit for fun, the Suboxone or whatever. I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that supposed to be what you take when when you are addicted to the opioids or whatever?
Yeah.
But apparently, you can use it as a drug. I don't get it, but yeah.
It's used recreational because you do, from my understanding, people do get like a buzz off of it. It's got a opioid blocker in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you were to take it and then take an opioid, it'll make you, it'll
Make you sick, right?
Very sick, yes.
Yeah.
But people do use it recreationally because they get a buzz off of it. My understanding, which blows my mind. Like, why? It just, it's stupid. And it is very highly addictive from my understanding as well. So this, to give to a child that doesn't need it, no. And it does very much depress the respiratory tract to where you can struggle breathing. So if you have that already in your system and you're taking a tranquilizer or a mood stabilizer that slows your breathing down more, relaxes you, at some point, it's just got to stop. Okay. And here we are. I just don't understand it. I don't get this. Mom of 3 says it's also got a ceiling effect. So if they took it every day, the same amount, they can't get. Yeah, eventually, yeah, that's my understanding. Is it will hit that, and then you're done with it. So.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that is so crazy. This is insane. What did Joanne say? I'm sorry.
It was hard enough to regulate these types of medications and treatments for adults. I mean, when you're playing around with it with these kids and you're trying to find that perfect combination or whatever, you don't just ignore them throughout the night and not do vitals and then fake that you did it.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. Shortcuts. People lazy at their job. Not to mention, there wasn't a license. There was no licensed nurse on the premises. That's illegal as hell when there's drugs being passed around. Okay, sorry, that place will be shut down at this point. And if it's not, I will be beyond surprised. That's all I can say.
Me too.
This is just sad. Wait a minute. What is that there? Did you see that she also had borderline cardiomyopathy? It makes it, yeah. So that's weird to have at her age, though. Cardiomegaly, yeah. That is strange for her age, I would think. Which also was probably another part of what happened, to be honest with you.
All the more reasons to be monitoring her.
If they knew she had that, of course. Yes, it was on her paperwork, so they knew. Wow. This is bad, guys. Hold it. Let me finish this.
Medical negligence.
100% malpractice for sure. For sure. Again, if these parents don't own that place, I'll be surprised. And they very well should, as well as the license to whatever, because that place should be being run, and under my understanding, those places can run and they have medical staff such as nurses and counselors on staff, but there has to be a doctor on staff, and typically the doctor runs the place and is the administrator. If there's no doctor, that's a problem. I'm sorry. And I'll show you guys at a later date what I'm talking about. So if that's the case and that doctor is the one that runs it, that started it, that's the administrator of it, whatever, he'll lose his license as well. Just saying.
Well, the fact they didn't have a registered nurse on staff as required,
right?
Should have been. What was it? They got a fine. I mean, that you should get more than that.
100%, absolutely, 100%. Yes, agreed. This is so sad.
Between the non-compliance and the individual's death. So the facility itself had all the correct policies and regulations in place, and as soon as they found that the staff had not followed policy, they let us know. They completely cooperated with the investigation.
Shannon Toman-Black is the director of the State Division of Licensing and Background Checks. She said the department also put Vive's psychiatric side on a 4-month conditional license, which requires additional scrutiny from state regulators. And it imposed a temporary ban on admissions on that side, where Ariana died. Vive also implemented a number of changes. To always have registered nurses on hand, to retrain staff to observe 3 breaths for every client every 15 minutes in bed, and to add new nursing checks of clients during shift changes. But for Ariana's parents, it all feels insufficient, and the $1,000 fine feels downright insulting.
So your child's life means what to them?
$1,000. It's pretty sickening.
I don't even know how they're still running.
Wow.
Prosecutors with the Washington County Attorney's Office also reviewed the case. They declined an interview with us, but told St. George Police that while Ariana's death raised questions about prescriptions and could constitute potential policy problems or, quote, medical malpractice issues,
They didn't see a criminal aspect in this case.
we reached out to Vive for an on-camera interview, even visiting them in person to give their clinical director, Stuart Squires, one last opportunity to speak with us.
I'm Taylor Stevens. I'm here with Fox 13. I just wanted to let Stuart Squires know I was here in case he wanted to speak about Ariana.
I've got actually our PR information. Let me grab that for you and I'll give it to you. So hang on just one second.
Vive did issue a statement stressing the facility's cooperation with officials, its current good standing with regulators, and the state's determination that policy issues were judged to have, quote, no bearing on the patient's death. Vive also said it was heartbroken at the loss and had made no public statements about Ariana's death out of respect for her family. As their first year without their daughter comes to a close, Ariana's parents say they're still in denial.
We still talk about Ariana as if she's here in the presence. She's just away. She's coming home. We have her room exactly the way it was. All of her things. Holidays, we still buy things. We still feel her here. You know, everywhere we go, everything we do reminds us of Ariana. And that's never going to change.
They see her in the garden they created in her honor, and the mourning doves that appeared the day of her death. And they hear her in the sound of the wind chimes she loved. Today, Ariana is back in her bedroom, in a purple urn that surrounds her with her favorite color. Her parents can still smell her scent when they pray over her ashes each day. Now, more than anything else, her family says they just want answers for Ariana.
Ariana's life counts for something. And that's what God has instilled in us. You know, the pain, the suffering is for a purpose, and our purpose is to use that so this doesn't happen to someone else. Someone doesn't lose their son or daughter. They don't.
I can't believe that place is still running. I didn't see the end of this. I had no idea that was, I thought it was an ongoing situation. I never saw the end of it. So, wow. Wow.
That's unbelievable.
It is beyond unbelievable. I hope that these parents pull an attorney and maybe try to go after a that's insane to me. I'm sorry. Vive. It's called Vive. Yes, Joanne. The facility is Vive. If you look it up, I believe it's let me see something here real quick for you guys.
I mean, if they were just going to hand out fines, they should have handed out fines for each individual infraction, not just like, oh, you didn't have an RN, so you're going to get this fine. What about the every 15-minute check on the patient that you were not doing?
Well, they corrected it. They corrected it now.
Oh, so,
okay.
well, I bet they did.
No way. Vive Treatment Center is what the place is called. And it's a residential treatment. Jesus God, what a mess. Those poor parents. I feel so bad for them. I thought that child's life was worth $1,000. That's exactly how that looks to me. That's exactly what it is. So that's insane to me. That is that. They have big lawsuits against all juvenile facilities here in Maryland for SA places for children. You can't. Oh, I can believe that, Mama 3. I can definitely believe that. next time I go to see my mom going there. Hey, I get it. I get it. Leslie, what were you saying earlier about another 15-year-old autistic child missing in that same area, St. George? You said. I'm disgusted right now, you guys. I really am. I really thought that was going to have a different outcome.
That's crazy, especially, you know, when you trust them to take care of your child and help them. And, you know, even if they'd done their job correctly, it may not have made a difference as far as saving her life. But if they had gone in there and checked on her, it very well could have made all the difference.
Agreed. 100% agreed. Wow.
It's like nurses turning off alarms instead of going in to check on the patient. Just hit that silence.
That happens.
Yeah, it does.
A lot.
Well, I think I'm going to jump down, Dago. I got to go get some sleep.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for joining me again. I appreciate you very much.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
I will
Thanks for coming over to mine earlier. So.
Oh
that was
yeah,
good.
and I will definitely try to be there tomorrow to cover the rest.
Yeah, after we ended the stream, I was talking to Kimber, and I remembered I don't normally have my granddaughter during the week, because she goes to this day camp. But anyway, my daughter called a couple days ago and asked me, could I watch her on Wednesday? And I was like, sure. So she's coming over tomorrow evening, but she'll be hanging out in my room with me. And I don't know if I need to be discussing certain topics in her, you know, with her within earshot. So
Yeah.
I got to play it by ear. I might not do it tomorrow night. We might pick up again on Wednesday night, but I will let you guys know tomorrow for sure.
That sounds great. 100%. Thank you, Salty. And of course, I will be live tomorrow to keep on with the
I'll be listening
mid-afternoon with the Summerwell stuff. So thanks again, and I appreciate you. Have a great night and get some sleep.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night. 1 second, guys. All right. You're saying it's, I don't even see it at this point anywhere, Leslie. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to try to pull it up and see if I can get any info on it. Oh, God, this stuff is heartbreaking. I'm telling you guys, it really is. Yeah, Mom, we covered that before you jumped in here, the 12-year-old that was found in a ditch in Texas. We covered that earlier on. I think that was one of the first things we put on tonight when I first came in. A couple of things. What I'm trying to do lately is like when I do these late streams is just to give you guys bits and pieces of little bits of cases that are new and fresh so that we can keep things moving. And, you know, one is a bigger case than another one and it's not resolved, we'll keep going with it. So that's what I'm trying to do, is bringing new stuff to you guys when I do these late night shows. And of course, any missing children or anything like that, I'm throwing out here as well. So that's the whole point in me doing these lately, to get a lot more stuff out than what I have been. You know, there's nothing wrong with the focus that I've had on Sebastian, but it has taken away from a lot of other stuff that needs to be and should be being put out. So, of course, I'm not going to stop covering Sebastian, but there's nothing coming out as of right now. And I've been neglecting other things. So, take care, Park. You have a great night, and thank you for joining us tonight. So, the whole point of me doing this is that, and it's been good because we've been covering 3 to 4 different things a night now talking about them, getting the the names in the scenario out. So I think it's been very helpful, and I appreciate you guys tuning in for that. Welcome, Marie. So it is late, mystery. I'm gonna be probably shutting down here soon. We're at 2.5 hours. I'm still watching Delphi and Idaho, David. The Delphi thing I'm gonna be doing relatively soon. There's a hearing coming up in Idaho on the 27th. In fact, let me see something here real quick. Let me show you something. Hold on a minute. Just a minute. I gotta find it now. It's up here a ways, but I will get to it real quick. That is there. It is. Okay. Let's see. Good Lord, there's a lot to this one. All the way down at the bottom. Hold on. Wow. Okay, so I don't remember if I showed this to you, but I'm gonna show you now anyway. Definitely, David, definitely. So this was dropped on the 13th in Idaho. Oh, that's a good idea, minimum. I'll do that. Absolutely. Hey ERT, good to see you. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. What the fox? It's not making anything any better. So I've just backed away from it until something new comes out about him directly, and then I'll be there for that, of course. So a hearing is set for June 27th at 10 a.m. PT. This hearing will be open to the public and will be live streamed in the court's YouTube channel. Counsel shall be prepared to address scheduling dates, including a briefing schedule and oral argument dates for pretrial motions, including motions to suppress, motions and limine, and any motions challenging the death penalty. So that sounds like we're at that point where they're trying to pull the death penalty off the table. Okay. Expert disclosure deadlines, a trial setting deadlines for filing pretrial materials such as proposed jury instructions, juror questionnaires, witnesses list and exhibit list, and sentencing disclosure deadlines. So tune in for those of you that are following the Idaho case, June 27th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So that would be, let's see. Molly, are you here, Molly? Yeah. Just what you said there, David. Disgustingly premature. I agree with you. What time is it right now where you're at, Molly? $11:50. So guys, we will be here at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that hearing on the 27th. I will be streaming it live via the court, just like we always do, and then we'll have a short conversation about it afterwards, and that'll be what we do on the 27th during the day. So put it on your calendar. In fact, I'll put it on mine so that we know for sure. Oh, I already have that in there. Okay. $10, $11, $12. All right, we're good. Go. Plan to tune in for that. Now, we do have another document that dropped here as well. And that one that was the 14th, which was 4 days ago. Temporary. Hold on a minute. Thank you, Salty. Temporary order sealing fourth supplemental response to defendant's fifth motion to compel. Okay. Based upon the state's fourth supplemental request, response to defendant's fifth motion to compel and motion to file under seal, filed herein with no objection by defense, the court does hereby confirm and order that the state's fourth supplemental response to the defendant's fifth motion to compel and motion to file under seal, is exempt from disclosure and is sealed pursuant. Okay, so they just sealed that. That's all that is. There is nothing else besides that new. There may be some new stuff that drops closer to the 27th. So there is that. Yeah, I agree, David. It's a joke. It's horribly premature. Okay. How are you going to put a book out when we don't even have a trial yet? That blows my mind. I don't understand it. I don't. Yeah, Salty. I agree. Bloom's a joke too. All right. Thank you, Salty. What do we got here? Ah, there we go. Thank you for that. Depending on how long this is, that'll probably end the night for us there. Let's see. Thank you very much. I will definitely show that one tomorrow. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. We're going to go over that, what we do with Summer, and I have something in regards to an older case that kind of relates, in my opinion, and a few others' opinions to the Sebastian Rogers trial, or case, sorry. So we need to check that out too tomorrow. 50-50 on BK, hashtag dream. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I think Bloom is just trying to cash in on whatever he can with this. It's sad, but it's true in my opinion. I gotcha, Mystery. I gotcha. Let me see. I want to make sure I'm not getting anything else. Let me check my mail real fast as well. I will show you guys that tomorrow as well. Since she's not in here, it won't be as funny. Okay. Got you. That's perfect then. That's perfect. Thank you, Salty. That will be perfect. Yeah. Or no. Yes, I did. The two mothers that were murdered over the child custody thing, I did cover that. Screen stay on your TV. Oh, yeah, thank you. God, I got a headache, you guys. Sorry. So, I guess that's going to do it for tonight, folks. But I will be here early to mid-afternoon tomorrow, like I was today. We're going to go through more of the Summerwell scenario and the that thing I told you as well, and cover that as well. And I think that'll do it. I'm done. God, my head is killing me. I think it's my sinuses and my allergies have been nuts, guys. So that's gonna do it. But thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm looking. Hold on, Leslie. I'm sorry. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Did I miss it? Where is it at? Which one? Oh, that one there. Thank you so much. I know you're tired. Have noodles for brains. My granddaughter said. My granddaughter says when she gets sleepy, but we love and appreciate it. Well, thank you very much. I absolutely appreciate that and adore you all very much. And you have no idea. Thank you guys for supporting the channel, for being here for this. I'm sorry, Mittens. I'm so sorry. I thank you guys. Anybody that donated to support the channel in that sense, based on the links here, thank you for that. It means everything. It really does. It helps me to pay these bills. It keeps my internet running. It keeps my StreamYards running so I can do this every day with you guys. So thank you. Thank you so much, Gene Spratt. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Always, always, always. Thank you all for joining us. I appreciate it very much. Oh, that's okay. That's okay, Leslie. Don't worry about that. At least she's looking at it and she's trying to be helpful. So don't worry about that at all. No worries. No worries. Thank you, Zelda. I appreciate it. It's just sinus stuff because of my allergies. All right, guys. Much love to everybody, guys. Please get some good sleep. Have a great rest of your night. Don't forget to love yourselves, to love each other. Guys, please don't change anything about yourselves. You guys are absolutely amazing. And I love every one of you guys so much. Have a great night. And God bless, folks. Bye-bye.
Bullshit. 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 Bullshit.